For those of you who don't know how A Good Night's Sleep started, it was inspired by the film The Blind Side. And Jenn, there's that moment in the film where as most people have seen the film The Blind Side. So most of you probably know that there's that very inspiring moment in the film where Sandra Bullock's character is talking to Michael Orr. And she's talking to him, and he says, "Oh, well, I've never had one of these before." She says, "Oh, well, you've never had your own room." And he says, "No, actually, I've never had my own bed." And that's probably the most touching moment in the film, and it definitely brought a tear to my eye. But a lot of us, saw that film and kind of, it was a touching moment, and it was exciting, but then we just kind of move on with our lives. Well, the thing that really inspires me about Jenn is that she's the type of person that gets haunted by those moments, and she goes out and does something about it. And ultimately, she saw that moment and was haunted by it, just couldn't get it out of her head. So she, being just such a generous person, she started Googling online to see if she could find an organization that was trying to serve this need to give beds to homeless people who are transitioning from the streets into temporary housing. And she found that there was nobody really serving that need. So that was a year ago at this point, about a year and a half ago. And between that moment and now, they've put 277 beds into transitional homes. I just thank you so much for being here. Jenn and Josh inspire me every day, and I hope you guys will listen to the message of what A Good Night's Sleep is all about, and learn a little bit more about the history and the founding, and what their plans are for the next year, and hopefully you can all get involved. So thanks so much for being here tonight, and without further ado, the founder of AGNS, Jenn Kenny.
Thank you all for being here. So we are really honored to be here tonight. So big reason to celebrate. As Dylan said, I'm Jennifer Kenning, and I'm the founder of AGNS, which is A Good Night's Sleep. So I'm going to abbreviate while I go through this, just so I don't have to keep saying A Good Night's Sleep. Just so you know, A Good Night's Sleep, you will start to say, "I hope you have a good night's sleep" to people, and you will start to chuckle. So I want to make sure that you get 3 things tonight, that you leave here with a couple of things beyond getting to know AGNS. First, I want you to find your own passion, your own dreams, what makes your heart tick. Second, I want you to know who AGNS is, what we've done, where we're going, who we are, who we partner with, and what we're going to do in the future. And I want you to powerfully choose to be our partner. And 3, I want you to find the path and the vision that has you go out and do something really great in the world, even a simple random act of kindness for someone else. Leanne Toohey says it best: you don't need to do something on a grand scale. You need to do the little things that touch the human spirit. So if you leave with those 3 things, we will have done our job. I'm going to share my personal story, where the journey really begins. Just to calm my own nerves, I'm not a public speaker. This is the first time I'm sharing my story publicly with this many people. It's very personal to myself. There are people in this room that have known me almost my entire life that may not know this story. So I thank you in advance for creating the space of love and safety. I'm going to actually begin my story in the middle on purpose. So it might seem like I'm leaving off my 30 years of my life. I'm doing it on purpose, or else we'd be here all night. I knew I should have had this thing fixed. All right. It's Wednesday, August 19th, 2009. It's a normal day. It seemed to be normal. I'm out having drinks, about to go to a concert. Life seems pretty good. And then I enter a dark and deep place and begin to unravel over nothing. Nothing really happened in the moment. And there in front of my own eyes and my best friend, I can't shake it. I traveled down this path before. been down this path a couple times. It's dark, it's scary. I've struggled with depression for the last 5 years, never knowing when the bottom was. What people don't know behind the image is I had lots of success, a great career, climbing the corporate ladder, all the things you need and want in life, tons of love, a supportive family. But deep down inside, I was dead. There was a void. I struggled with major depression on and off for a really long time, hiding it from everyone. I wrapped my life in a nice little box with a pretty red bow, and if you're very lucky, or maybe not so lucky, you got invited in. I couldn't imagine going on this night. I was tired, scared, sad, fearful. I just wanted a break. Could it just end? So, people often say it's darkest before dawn. I strongly agree. August 20th rolls around. Once again, I get up, I put on my suit. My eyes are really puffy because I've cried an ocean of tears the night before. And I do what I do best, which is serve clients. And I deliver to a client in a meeting with a partner. Some people struggle with depression and they sleep. And they check out. They can't do the basic things. Others alienate themselves from other people. Some people operate on top of it. That would be myself. I share with you all of this for reasons because I think it explains the journey that we've been on and how we got to where we are today. I go to the client meeting and I deliver it. And I get in the car with my partner. And he says, wow, you do that so effortlessly and with ease. And I pause and I should take in the acknowledgement. And I just start to cry. I break down. I share with him that only hours earlier, I wanted to take my own life. The truth is, you can beat depression, but you still always have a little bit of it, and you have to learn to overcome it, see the signs, and then figure out how to manage it. All of these storms, and then the tide begins to turn. And I'm finally ready to listen and drive the ship, but not on my own, with God. You should know up until this point, I've done years of therapy, years of medicine. Everything that you could do, I had felt like I had done. Finally, people started to say things and they started to resonate. I actually started to hear. The first of which came from my best friend, so the same very person that was there that evening. And he said something really profound. He'd said it many times before. You need to do two things. You need to go back to your source, God, and you need to go out and do something for those less fortunate. And there you will find yourself. It was that had me turn my life around. So I spent the next 3 months doing work. I sought out spiritual coaches. I sought out life coaches. I read books. I went to God. I went to church. I did meditation. You name it, I did it. If you're going to cure an illness, depression, or anything that's challenging in life, you got to do the work. There are pivotal things that happened on the journey, but I'm only going to share 3 because I feel like they really impact AGNS. 1, I read a book by Erwin McManus called Wide Awake. And he says, are you sleepwalking through life? Now, Josh happened to give me this book a year prior and it sat on my nightstand. We all know how that goes, right? Well, you read the books when you're supposed to read the books. Erwin does a great job of actually getting you to jolt, to see, like, what are you doing? What are you waking up every day? Are you following your dreams? Are you doing what God put you here to do? It was almost like God and Erwin were sitting with me having coffee and screaming at me the entire time. So I really sat down to look, and I was flying a lot during this period of time, so I'd look out at the sky. And I really felt like God already had me where I was supposed to be. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I loved what I was doing. I had a great career. I had such talent there that this must be it. It was, but it was the seed. He had bigger expectations. To whom much is given, much is expected. Another quote from my best friend. I'm purposely leaving his name out to the end. So, the seed was planted. All the years of building my career was so that I could actually step into this moment, use all of those skills to transform this part of this society, to bridge the gap, so that I would be that vehicle. The seed was planted, it just needed to be watered.